Café Coffee Day, once a go-to spot for coffee lovers, is facing tough times. With fewer outlets and mounting financial troubles, the company is caught in a legal battle over insolvency. A bankruptcy court allowed proceedings, but a temporary halt was placed in August 2024. Now, the IDBI trusteeship has taken the fight to the Supreme Court, pushing for a final verdict by February 2025. Meanwhile, CCD is expanding its vending machine network and negotiating a settlement to stay afloat. So what's going on with CCD? Back in 2019, Café Coffee Day, or CCD, was at the top of its game as India's biggest coffee chain and making a profit. But that same year, tragedy struck when its founder VG Siddhartha took his own life, leaving India in shock. So what went wrong? Despite its success, CCD was drowning in debt. 7,214 crore rupees by 2019. The pressure from lenders became too much for Siddhartha to bear. After his passing, his wife Malavika stepped in to try and save the company. Over the last 4 years, she's managed to slash the debt down to 1,363 crore rupees and make the stores more efficient. But CCD now faces stiff competition from both local and international newcomers. In this video, we'll dive into how CCD hit rock bottom and how Malvika is fighting to bring it back. If you are new to the channel, do consider subscribing to us. We are a new channel and your appreciation is super important to us. In the mid-1990s, India was undergoing a transformation. The economy was opening up, urbanization was on the rise, and a new generation of young Indians was eager to embrace global trends. Among the many changes, one stood out: the emergence of Café Coffee Day, a brand that would revolutionize India's coffee culture. Siddhartha came from a wealthy family in Chikmagalur, a region famous for its coffee plantations. Initially, he wanted a career in finance. So after graduation, he moved to Mumbai and worked at JM Financials for 2 years. After gaining some experience, he returned to Bengaluru and borrowed 7.5 lakh rupees from his father to start Way to Wealth investment consultancy. This was in the early 1980s when India's stock market wasn't as competitive and Siddhartha was making 1 lakh rupees per day. He used this money to buy coffee plantations, and by 1992, he owned around 5,000 acres. However, he bought most of this land on credit, which later became a significant challenge for him. Siddhartha wanted to do more than just produce coffee. He wanted to create a space where people could connect over a cup of it. So in 1996, he opened the first Café Coffee Day on Brigade Road in Bengaluru. They charged 25 rupees per coffee, which was 5 times the price of a regular filter coffee back then. But that didn't bother their target audience: young, affluent folks who were willing to pay for a good vibe and amenities. CCD even offered internet access, which set it apart from traditional cafes. This was the start of CCD's journey, and by 2019, the year Siddhartha tragically passed away, CCD had grown into India's biggest coffee chain with 1,752 cafes and 3,569 crores in annual revenue. Siddhartha wasn't just focused on coffee, he had a lot on his plate. CCD's parent company, Coffee Day Enterprises Limited, was involved in multiple businesses. In 2019, only 50% of CDEL's revenue came from coffee. The rest came from unrelated ventures. There was Ways to Wealth, his trading firm, SICAL Logistics, Tanglin Developments, which built tech parks, a luxury hotel chain called Serai, and a venture capital firm called Coffee Day Trading that invested in tech startups. Siddhartha was juggling all these businesses, which led to what you could call over-diversification. Most of these ventures were built on debt, and by 2019, he was carrying a total debt of around 10,000 crores. This lack of focus on CCD was becoming obvious. The financial pressures were compounded by increasing competition. international coffee chains like Starbucks and Costa Coffee entered the Indian market, offering stiff competition to CCD. These global giants brought with them deep pockets and established brand identities, making it harder for CCD to maintain its dominance. Internal issues also began to plague the company. Reports of mismanagement, declining quality of service, and inconsistent product offerings started surfacing. The brand's image, which had been its biggest strength, began to suffer. The very customers who once swore by CCD started drifting away, lured by the allure of new and more upscale options. The situation took a tragic turn in 2019 when VG Siddhartha went missing and was later found dead. His death shocked the nation and brought to light the immense financial and personal pressures he had been under. In a letter that surfaced after his death, Siddhartha hinted at the mounting debts and the pressure from investors and lenders. After Siddhartha's passing, his wife Malvika stepped up to lead Coffee Day Enterprises Limited, facing an enormous challenge. She was a single mother of two, with the company burdened by 10,000 crore rupees in debt. Her first move was to streamline operations by cutting non-core businesses and focusing on the coffee business. To tackle the debt, she sold 90 acres of their global village tech park to Blackstone for 2,700 crore rupees, offloaded Way to Wealth to Shriram Credit Company for 65 crores, and put their logistics business for sale. She also made the tough decision to close unprofitable cafes, reducing CCD's presence from 1,752 cafes in 243 cities in 2019 to 450 cafes in 154 cities by 2024. Though these changes were painful in the short term, CCD's fortunes are starting to turn around. Revenue, which had dropped to 582 crore rupees in FY22, bounced back to 924 crore rupees in FY23. Their cafes started to become more efficient, with the average revenue per cafe rising from 1 crore in 2019 to 1.8 crores in 2024. Despite its financial struggles, Café Coffee Day is rapidly expanding its coffee vending machine business. The company is focusing on self-service CCD Express machines in offices, malls, and public spaces, tapping into the growing demand for quick on-the-go coffee. This shift towards vending solutions helps CCD stay relevant and generate revenue even as its cafe outlets shrink. So what do you think? Can CCD make a successful comeback? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.